Hey everyone, it's the last week of June, which means the first half of 2024 is about to come to an end. So, just like in a game, in a basketball game, you have the first half and you have the second half. So, during halftime, usually the teams take a break and they reassess their first half. So, this is what I'm saying for everybody out there. The end of June is this week. Reassess your first half. Look and see which part of your first half was beneficial and helped you get to your goals and helped you get closer to your dreams, and which part of the first half do you need to make some changes and some adjustments to. Because if you are not where you think you should be, or if you kind of got off track on the goals that you were pursuing during the first half, see which plays were you making during the first half that you might need to readjust. Which part of the first half was working well and maybe you need to amp it up. Maybe you need to do that a little bit more. What intentional plays do you need to put in place so that you can have some intentional results? Because we're about to start the second half when we get to July. My question for you is, how are you going to go into the second half? Are you going to go into the second half feeling defeated because your first half isn't or wasn't what you expected it to be? Like sometimes if a team is losing a lot in the first half and then they feel defeated already, they come back in the second half and sometimes they don't even put forth the full effort because they feel like they've already lost. But then you have some of those teams that might be down at the end of the first half and then they recoup and regroup during halftime and they come back that second half with a new energy and a new motivation to win. And so they come out the second half and they play stronger. They put those new plays into place and they play wiser and they make better decisions during that second half and they end up pulling out the win in the end. So which team are you going to be? Are you going to be that team that's already given up because your first half isn't what you expected it to be? Are you going to act like that team that says, you know what? I had a good first half. I could have a better second half. And you come out and you do things a little differently so that you can get to those dreams and those goals that you set in place back in January. Or are you that team that's up and winning and then you get comfortable and you decide, I'm already, where I need to be. I've already achieved some of my goals, so I'm good. The second half, I'm just going to cruise through second half and not really achieve the more that's out there for me. Because sometimes people get comfortable. And when you get comfortable, sometimes you get complacent. And when you get complacent, you don't necessarily go after what the other things are that are out there for you. So, who are you going to be during this second half? How are you going to show up? Because that's one of the questions. How do you show up to your dreams? How do you show up to your goals? How do you show up to your situations and to your challenges when things do get tough? Or let's say a crisis arises. Today in church, my pastor was talking about crises and different ways to handle in situations. So think about it. A crisis could be a significant or sudden disruption in your life. Something that challenges you, something that might cause you to have some type of setback. How do you show up when those types of situations occur? When I say how do you show up with your perspective? How do you show up in your mindset? How do you show up in your actions? Like, how are you showing up? Because to me, the universe tells you how you show up to something is how the universe will show up for you. So think about it. If you really never show up for other people, then you might turn around and other people won't show up for you. Or if you come and you showing up and you always got an attitude or you're always negative and you're always, not the best person to be around, then guess what? In reverse, you're going to get that ripple effect of how you showed up to the situation. Like, what perspective do you have? Because the proper perspective about a situation will determine how your present and how your future results will be. So, for your second half of this year, look and really reflect on how have you been showing up? Have you been getting up early and putting in the work? Have you been staying late and putting in the work? Have you been doing the things that you know that you need to be? And I'm talking to myself too, y'all. Have you been doing the things that you know you need to do in order to achieve the goals that you set for yourself? Now pause, because some people might say, well, I don't have a goal that you're going after. Now the question is, if you don't have a goal that you're going after, then what are you doing? Are you just living? Are you just existing? Are you not aspiring to do anything different? Are you good with where you are? Are you that team that say, hey, we good, we cruising, we just gonna keep it right here? Even if it's not the level of success or the level of prosperity that your creator may have for you. I mean, it's just a question. Because what I'm saying is we have to put in that intentional effort, and we have to have that intentional faith in order to get those intentional results. So what results do you want for the end of 2024? Because I started off this year saying, hey, more in 2024, more abundance in 2024, more wisdom in 2024, more dreams and goals being achieved in 2024. Expect more in 2024. Half of it is almost over. But guess what? All of it isn't over. So what are you going to do with that second half? And remember, no matter how your first half went, no matter how you got into the situation, no matter how the crisis may have occurred, it doesn't matter now. What matters now is, how are you going to show up now so that you can get out of it, or you can get through it, or you can go forward, or you can move into the second half and really get, some of you might just need to get back on track. Some of you may not even have a track that you're on, and maybe you just need to start. Some of you know that you've been called to a higher calling, or you've been called with a purpose, and you just still haven't started walking in it. Second half, you can start now. It's okay. Doesn't matter how your first half ended up. What does matter is how you show up for your second half. And there's a couple of things that I want you to focus on for the second half. And I'm going to wrap up. First thing is, I want you to refocus on your source, not your resource. Because your resource and how you get it may change, but the source remains the same. The universe remains the same. The creator remains the same. And remember, the same creator that got you through your situations before is the creator that can get you through your situations now, and that can help you have a better second half. Number 2, I want you to remember, it's okay to request help. Ask for help. Seek out mentorships. Get the knowledge. Go knock on some doors of opportunity. If you know that you need more knowledge on something and you don't reach out and request help for getting that knowledge, then you're going to stay where you are. I mean, I'm just saying, how can you change if you don't put forth the effort to make the change? And then number 3 is, remember where you came from. What I mean by that is, remember what you've already come through. Remember what you've already achieved. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we forget that we used to be all the way back there in the back, and now we're here in the middle. We might not be all the way to the goal line, the finish line, but we're much further than where we started. So remember that. Refocus on the source. Request help if you need it. And remember where you've come from, because your second half can be better than your first half. But it's all about putting forth that intentional effort with that intentional faith, and how you show up matters. Okay? This is Tracey D Armstrong. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. For your motivational moments. Have a good one, y'all.